There are many different aspects to recruiting and more than one way to go about automating them. I'm going to explore some of the different ways you should consider automating your recruiting workflow and what things to actually avoid. Hey, and welcome back. My name is Preston. I'm a professional recruiter in the technology industry. Considering the breakneck pace of our world these days, one of the smartest things you can do as a recruiter is incorporate technology into your workflow. This will allow you to take on a higher volume of clients and help speed up some of the more monotonous tasks so you can focus on areas that need your full, undivided attention. There are plenty of ways you can automate certain parts of the recruitment process, but not every method is as effective as others. Some may even get you banned from online recruiting platforms that reflect poorly on you or your agency, so make sure you watch carefully. So in this video, I'm going to explore some of the different ways you should consider automating your recruiting workflow and what things to actually avoid. But before we get started, please consider supporting a fellow recruiter. Give us a like, subscribe, click that bell. Really means a lot. What is recruiting automation? Software automation, artificial intelligence, and machine learning are being incorporated into virtually every industry, and the recruiting world is no exception. There are many different aspects to recruiting and more than one way to go about automating them. So here are some of the different methods that recruiters use. Candidate screening. Online applications have made it easier than ever before for candidates to apply from anywhere at any time and at their own pace. This increased accessibility means that recruiters and hiring managers have a much larger volume of potential candidates to choose from than they used to have just a few short years ago. But the more candidates you must screen, the longer the process is going to take. That's why it's perfect for automation. This is where an applicant tracking system or ATS can come in especially handy. A lot of ATS software has the ability to filter candidates based on keywords within their application or their resume. You select the criteria and the software will highlight any matches based on the information the candidate has provided. However, it's also important to keep in mind that it's easy to go too far with ATS filters. My regular subscribers might remember my previous videos on ATS rejection and resume optimization. While an ATS won't outright reject resumes unless you program it to do so, it's easy to make the filters especially sensitive and miss out on potentially great candidates. Remember, don't get too arbitrary, and if you're unhappy with the filtered results, consider adjusting your filters or even going in and reviewing some resumes manually. There are other ways you can automate the screening process depending on the hiring platform you use. Some might have more advanced AI or machine learning features that can do more detailed resume scans or analyze job applications. You can even go as far as setting up chatbots for potential candidates to interact with, which provides a great streamlined way for you to get answers to important questions while keeping the potential hire engaged throughout the process. Scheduling. No matter your industry, scheduling can throw a real wrench into your productivity. While scheduling may seem like a simple process, the truth is that reaching contacts and working out a date and time that works for both parties can take much longer than you might expect. Candidates can be slow to respond, and it can quickly become a time-wasting back and forth as you struggle to align your schedules. Naturally, scheduling meetings and interviews is another area of recruiting that is commonly automated as well. Software such as applicant tracking systems have plenty of features that help to automate this process and eliminate as much of this headache as possible. Chosen candidates can get a personalized message template that allows them to pick a date and time most convenient for them based on your schedule, and the interview will be automatically recorded onto your calendar or planner. You'll likely want to set up notifications so you can review the candidates and prepare for the interview as well. You'll also want to consider sending automatic reminders to candidates you've planned interviews with, which will ensure that they're on schedule and you don't waste any time waiting for them. Posting jobs. Writing and distributing job postings is another one of the most important but time-consuming aspects of recruiting. It can take some time to incorporate the right information, include keywords, and optimize them for different job boards. Luckily, many job boards, hiring platforms, applicant tracking systems, and other recruiting software has plenty of options for streamlining the job posting process. When developing and writing a job post, many platforms offer pre-made templates that you can fill in key information as needed. This helps ensure it's a friendly, readable format that is optimized for search engines. If you're struggling to find relevant keywords or phrases, consider looking into keyword research software or keyword generator or Google for inspiration. Finally, there are a whole number of platforms that will distribute a single job post out, either for your clients for review and specific candidates from your talent database or a select number of job boards, depending on what software you're actually using. Automation benefits. Automation benefits screening, scheduling, and posting jobs are 3 aspects of the recruiting process that can be easily and fully automated. Here are some of the benefits you might see after successfully implementing automation into these processes. Save time. Automation is all about saving time. After all, time is money, and while you might end up paying for the necessary automation tools, you have more time and availability to greatly increase your client base, offsetting the cost of whatever software you decide to use. You'll also be able to dedicate more attention to matters that require more manual labor or a personal touch, interacting with clients and candidates, for instance. Improved candidate experience. While there are certainly plenty of benefits recruiters will see on their end, a well-automated hiring process also improves the candidate's experience as well. They'll be able to move through it at their own pace, giving them more control and helping them feel more involved in the process. You'll even be able to step in to provide the necessary personalization at just the right time so the candidate never feels like they're being completely ignored. Increased diversity. Perhaps the most important benefit of recruiting automation is the removal of unconscious bias. If implemented well, recruiting software will be able to parse relevant information from a resume or application without a personal baggage of a human being. While certain processes need a human touch, it's also true that we can bring to the table our own worldviews and biases that can affect how we perceive and ultimately choose candidates. While it's important to be able to acknowledge and remove bias when you become aware of it, another great way of increasing diversity is to rely on software and technology. It will take an objective look at every candidate, only considering the most relevant professional qualifications. Tasks you shouldn't automate. Considering just how much recruiting software is on the market, you may be tempted to automate as much as the process as possible. But it's important to keep in mind that certain aspects of recruiting still require and should require manual personal input and extensive personalization. When you excessively automate every single one of your tasks, you risk alienating candidates. If they feel like they're just being pushed through a pipeline of robots and chatbots, they could get turned off and look for employment or services elsewhere. Additionally, certain online job boards, especially LinkedIn, have rules against automation. Let's look at some of the processes that you should consider doing manually as much as possible. Sourcing and outreach. Identifying and contacting qualified candidates is one of the most important parts of the recruitment process. As such, you should try to be as personally involved in it as possible. For one, automated sourcing using AI or bots is against LinkedIn's terms of service, especially if you use it. You should be manually searching for and analyzing candidates yourself. You have a little bit more flexibility when it comes to outreach. There's nothing wrong with writing a template to use when reaching out to candidates, but ensure that it's in your own unique voice. Make sure you personalize it for the individual and include specific, relevant details so the candidate knows you spent time getting to know them before you reached out. The candidate engagement. This is another process that can be automated, but should be done so carefully. It's important to keep candidates engaged with reminders and check-in emails. These can be time-consuming to create and send out manually, but you also don't want to spam your candidates with an influx of automated messaging. Depending on the recruiting platforms you use, you should try to curate and pace automated outreach as much as possible. Limit reminders and only send updates when requested or when absolutely necessary. Other automation opportunities. So this just about covers most of the major ways you can incorporate automation into your recruiting process, but certainly there are other useful methods of automation that businesses in different industries use every day. For example, for billing and invoicing, consider looking into financial software that will help streamline the payment process. This is super helpful for both you and your clients. Another thing to consider is automated background checks. Not only are there countless services for official criminal checks, but there is software to analyze a potential candidate's online presence as well. Something to think about. Do you have your own methods of automation that I didn't cover? I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you leave down a comment down below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, feel free to support us by liking, subscribing, click that bell. Feel free to also follow me at Preston_Park as I try my best to also post behind the scenes content daily. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you on the next one.